well, exactly what are they going to miss the most? So I asked Frank Vogel, who, of course, coaches against them, what one thing will Cleveland miss the most not having Kevin Love? And his answer was very telling.
It's the total package, more than one thing. You can replace one thing. You can replace his three-point shooting by playing James Jones out there, but you lose his rebound. You can replace his rebounding by putting Tristan Thompson out there, but you lose the spacing. I think that what Kevin Love is as a total package is what you lose more than anything.
And if you really watched it, Mike, game one, that really came to fruition. They decided to try and replace his long-distance shooting with Mike Miller.
Right.
It was a disaster defensively. Now we're hearing Tristan Thompson will get the start, so they'll go for the beef, but obviously you lose the spacing and you lose a lot of other things. So let's bring Brian Windhorst in on that. A thought, the loss of Kevin Love, evident, at least in the words of Frank Vogel and others. Brian, what do you make of this? And I guess I would frame the question this way. Do you look at the Cavs right now as a team in serious trouble?
I mean, not really. I think that ultimately it's a 4-point game with 9 minutes to go on their floor. They bring LeBron James back into the game. He had a rest. And in a normal situation there, LeBron's going to carry you home. But LeBron got outplayed down the stretch of the game by Jimmy Butler. The Cavs in this series, it's not going to be determined by James Jones or Sean Marion or Tristan Thompson. The way that they're going to win this series is that they've got the two best players, so those guys have to dominate. And Kyrie Irving and the Kyrie Irving-Derrick Rose matchup was too close for them because Rose played really well. And Jimmy Butler, I feel, in the last 9 minutes of the game, outplayed LeBron. It's unacceptable. So what they need is LeBron to be the star. When you look at the numbers, LeBron is having his worst playoffs since 2006. Now, worst is in quotes there because he's still putting up good numbers. And certainly if you look at the box score from the other night and see 19 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, you're going to say, well, what are you talking about? But, he's not shooting at a high percentage. He's not defending at a high rate. And he hasn't been able to have, some huge dominant scoring games. So they just got to have their stars be their stars. And that is going to widen the margin for error for the rest of their players.
Looking at the situation for Chicago, they've been in the situation of being injured the last couple of years in the playoffs. Now it's the team they're facing, the team they have to get past that has the injuries. So is there pressure on them basically feeling if we can't beat them now, I don't know when we're going to beat them. And, oh, by the way, whenever our season is over this year, our coach is gone.
Yeah. The Bulls have been trying to get back to this point for 4 years. This is the best position they've been in since 2011. They've been building this team for that long. They've swung for the fences on a lot of moves. The funny thing about the Bulls is they tried to make two big acquisitions last summer. They tried to sign Carmelo Anthony, and that did not work out. And they ended up with Pau Gasol, and boy, did they win that one. Then they ended up trying to trade for Kevin Love. Now, they won't say that they were very aggressive, but the bidding for Kevin Love was the Warriors, the Cavs, and the Bulls. The Bulls had offers into the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves went with the Cavs. And it ended up working out for them in various ways. So the Bulls whiffed on their two big offseason moves, and yet here they are in a great position here. I think the big thing for them is Derrick Rose, if he plays like he did in Game 1, they're going to be a force to be dealt with because he was awesome in that game. And the Cavs really didn't have a problem with the way he got his points. He was hitting long jumpers and step backs. And if he plays like that, the Bulls are a completely different team. The question is, it's 1 day between games the rest of this series. No more 2 days off. Derrick Rose has had 2 days off. He's averaged about 26 points. When he's had 1 day off, he's averaged 14 points since he's come back from knee injury. Does that continue or not? I don't know. But that is going to be a big factor in this series going forward.
Mike Brian Windhorst is with us. You mentioned Pau Gasol. He led the league with 54 double-doubles this year. I lived through this covering the Bulls in the 90s, Brian, where every single year they won the title and every single year they were saying Phil Jackson was going to be gone. Now it's happening again. Why? Again, the most recent story is even if they win the championship, Tom Thibodeau is going to be gone. Why does he keep getting to this?
Well, I don't ever assume anything until it happens, but the relationship there is beyond repair. If they were to win the championship, I think people may be able to hold their nose, although Phil Jackson walked away after winning a title, so I guess it's not impossible. The thing about it is Tom Thibodeau is extraordinarily headstrong, and the Bulls front office and the structure that Jerry Reinsdorf has just had through the years is extraordinarily headstrong. And they just don't get along at all. They completely operate independent of each other. There's a great deal of animosity that's built up over the years. And if you look at, guys like Thibodeau, there's a history of this. It's hard for a guy like that to stay someplace for very long. He wears everybody out. And what's so disappointing about this, Mike, is that the Bulls front office, they do one of the best jobs in the league. I just have talked about, they whiffed on all their 2010 attempts at signing guys. They whiffed at some of their big moves over the last few years, yet they've continued to make great draft picks, smart signings. They go in, they find guys like C.J. Watson and Nate Robinson and Aaron Brooks as cheap pickups in free agency, and it always works out for them. They always do a really good job. And then you look at Tom Thibodeau. This guy's been one of the best coaches in the league for the last 5 years. So you say to yourself, why can't one of the best-run team front offices and one of the best coaches not produce a wonderful marriage? And the answer is just because it hasn't. And anybody who spent even 5 seconds around the Bulls this year, you can tell that everybody's divvying up. You're either a Tibbs guy or you're a Gar, Foreman, John Paxson guy. And, that's where there's going to be a divide. And those people that are on Tibbs' side are probably going to be gone after this year, and those people loyal to management are probably going to be there.
It's remarkable that it comes to this again. Yeah. Mike and Mike, Brian Windhorst. One more thing, Brian. Interesting. Steph Curry wins the MVP, receives the trophy yesterday, 100% deserved in both Mike's and my opinion, and then goes out, has a tough night, and the Warriors lose at home. But that aside, we brought this question yesterday. In the 2009 draft, Blake Griffin was picked first, James Harden was picked third, and Steph Curry was picked seventh. They've all obviously turned out to be great players, and they're all playing at an extraordinarily high level right now. If those three players are being redrafted right now, by consensus around the league, in what order do you think they would go? Blake Griffin, James Harden, Steph Curry?
I think most people would say Blake would go still number one, but I'm telling you, the league is changing so much, and there's such a premium on shooting now. The idea that you have to have a big man is going away. Normally if everything's tied, you take the bigger guy. But there's so much value in shooting that I think it would be a split decision. There would be maybe 10 out of the 30 teams that would take Curry first because, what he does changes everything that you can do offensively. Blake is awesome, and it's hard to find power forwards, and he's really putting it together. But Curry may be the greatest shooter of all time. And the better you can shoot, the longer your career is. And now that he's shown that his injuries are in the past with these ankles, I think you can make a pretty strong case for taking him first. We always enjoy it, Brian. Thank you for the time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian Windhorst with us on Mike and Mike.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Let me forget the draft now. Now I'm asking you this question.
Go right ahead.
You can morph into either Blake Griffin or Steph Curry. Now forget the draft. Which would you rather be? If you could be one of those players.
Is that a joke?
No. You could be Steph Curry. You could morph it. You could be Steph Curry, his abilities, or Blake Griffin.
Have you looked at me? Do you think I wouldn't like to be 6'10"?
I know. Well, that's what I'm asking.
With a body like an Adonis,
I get it,
able to dunk and clap my heels together on top of the rim. Would you rather
possibly be a guy that can go down and remembered as Mike Greenberg, the greatest shooter in NBA history?
No. I would be Blake Griffin in the blink of an eye.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Me
Are you
too.
kidding?
Me too.
And listen, I admire and love Steph Curry.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me I could be one of those two guys.
I'm with you.
I'd be the big man. I just wonder,
because it'd be nice to have your name associated with greatest shooter of all time.
Look, but as one who's always been the little man, I'd like just once to be the big man.
Yeah,
I'd like to knock someone down. I've never knocked anyone down in my life.
And not be accidentally bumping into a kid on the school ground.
I've been knocked down, I mean, I get knocked down, I get up again. You're never going to keep me down.
You get knocked down physically, emotionally, the whole thing.
In every conceivable way. Once again, the questions are about